Welcome all to Anti-Juicer. It's great to freaking have you, baby. I like to start by saying that I'm not a financial advisor or expert, so blah, 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 blah. You know how the whole fucking spiel goes. What I'd like to present to you guys is my thesis on APE. I think, and I mean this in a very respectful way, I think the majority of Twitter, of Reddit, of YouTube, of Discord is thinking about APE completely ass backwards. I think everybody is expecting APE, and feel free to correct me, Chad. Drop a 1 if this is how you feel. Drop a 1 if this is how you feel. Drop a 1 if you think that APE is going to, for one way or another, expose synthetic shares or create an immediate squeeze up. Drop a 1 if that's what you believe. Not a lot of ones. We got some. We got a couple. It's rolling through. You guys can see it here. Check this out. I don't believe it will. The reason I don't believe it will is because GameStops didn't either. And I know they're different. It's different scenarios. Different things happened. We get it. But I don't think that was the intention of what Adam Aaron wanted. I really don't. I think the answer is so simple that people are overlooking it, but it's right in front of our faces. And I'm going to explain it to you. My theory behind the purpose of APE is quite simple. If you look at it, I think it accomplishes a couple key things, right? It's a halfway happy scenario. And what I mean by this is it does two things. On this side of the fence is retail. On the other side of the fence is AMC and execs. What does retail want? They want to squeeze. And they want to see that synthetics exist. I'd say this is pretty fair, right? Drop a small PPE emote if you'd like to see either one of these two things take place, right? Drop a PPE emote. Just out of curiosity, let it roll through the chat. Drop a small PPE emote if these are one of the two things that you'd like to see happen. Yeah, pretty straightforward, right? This makes sense. AMC and executives don't really give a shit about this. They just don't. Neither does GameStops. Neither does Bed Bath & Beyond's. Like it or don't like it, their job isn't to facilitate a squeeze. In fact, that would be illegal. If an executive or a CEO of a company was to go out of their way to try to, and this is what it would be viewed as, manipulate stock price up, they get in trouble. Cannot do it. They cannot do that. This is different from a judiciary duty to protect investors, right? If there's something bad taking place, they have a duty to expose it and to take care of the problem, right? I'm in complete agreement with this. But their job isn't to force a squeeze, right? Their job is to increase value and make money, right? This is a halfway happy scenario because it leaves the option for one of these two things to take place, or both, and it leaves the option for these two things to take place: increase value and make money, right? And make money is sort of ambiguous. This can mean decrease debt. It can also mean increase revenue, right? Decrease debt, increase revenue, or pad balance sheets, right? Increase revenue, pad balance sheets. Here's what I think the long-term plan is. I don't think it's a short-term plan. What I think Adam Aaron and co. are planning to do with APE is so simple. It's to dilute. You're blind if you don't think this is going to happen. But this is the misconception. Charles Gasparino would love for every single person on planet Earth to think that dilution is going to be what brings AMC to its fucking final days. Everyone thinks, I mean, this is the narrative they run with, right? We know this. We know that Charles Gasparino and those dickheads over on fucking mainstream media just love to bag on the amount of dilution that has happened in the past. However, this is a necessary thing for AMC to do. I can promise you it is, because if they don't, how do you come up with $5 billion? With current revenue versus current expenses, it's difficult to do, right? But this is where the halfway happy thing comes in handy, right? Why is it halfway happy? Apes do not want dilution. This much we know. Drop a 1 if you don't want dilution. Drop a 1. I just want to see this, right? Drop a 1, let it roll through the chat. Drop a 1 if you don't want dilution. Good. Point proven, right? Retail does not want dilution. It's that simple. This is what I mean by halfway happy. What he's managed to do is split the market cap two ways. When I talk about market cap, what I mean is if you come over to Webull as an example, and I look at AMC chart, and I come over here to the Moore side, it has a $9.29 billion free float market cap, meaning the company is worth roughly $9.2 billion. What he's done is he split it in half. He took half of it and he allocated it to AMC. He took half of it and he allocated it to APE. What does this do? It discounts dilution. If they're not diluting AMC, they only have shares allocated to dilute APE. It's half-priced dilution. I don't know what 9.2 divided by 2 is. I'm pretty fucking stupid. Don't mind me. So I'm just going to take out a calculator. We're going to take 9.2 divided by 2. That's 4.6. You're only diluting $4.6 billion worth of market cap. So they're able to do two things. A, raise money. B, discount it, right? Why does this matter? I don't think APE is going to squeeze the stock in the way that you think it is. I've talked about this a million times. The short thesis for AMC exists because of two reasons. A, they're not cash flow positive. They're still not making money quarter over quarter, right? This is very obvious. We can go through the earnings and see this, and it's not fun. It's just truth. Number two, they have a high amount of debt, and if you're short and you don't believe they'll ever get out of their debt, you bet against it, right? So how do you get these guys out of a position? How do you get a squeeze without manipulating a stock? You force shorts out from a fundamental perspective. You let them sit there and say, I have no reason for any way, shape, or form to be in this stock right now. So what are they going to do? I think APE is meant to do this over a 6-month to 1 year period. I think within 1 year maximum, this is my thesis. This is a theory. I don't promise anything. Don't make an investment based on what I'm talking about. This is a theory based on what I think makes sense. But in a 6-month to 1 year time frame, I think they're going to do a couple things. Dilute APE. I think that once they dilute APE, it's going to raise significant money. They're going to have extra cash. I think they will use this cash in a couple different ways. Two mainly. One, investments. Two, buy discounted debt. What will this do? Well, it'll do really nice things. First off, if you buy discounted debt, you get to keep more money, right? Keep money in your bank account. Two, it decreases expenses. Every quarter they pay less money towards debt, right? This is good. What does this do? Well, if we know that if we want to calculate whether or not you're profitable, what you have to do is you have to take revenue versus expenses, and the difference is what you make or what you're not making, right? If you cut expenses, you keep more of your revenue. You're going to be closer to being cash flow positive, right? I say all this because I think the purpose of APE in the most simple way possible is to accomplish two things. Make them cash flow positive, pay off significant debt. Chat, fill in the blank. Do you think a short would want to be in AMC if they were cash flow positive or had little to no debt? Yes or no? At current price, at $18, do you think a short would want to be in this stock knowing the entire history and the entire trend of the stock and how fast it can rip? Do you think they'd want to be in this fucking stock if they were cash flow positive or had little to no fucking debt? No, they wouldn't. They fucking wouldn't. And if we can accomplish this in 6 months to a year, why not fucking wait? It's worth it 10 times out of 10. Out of 10, yes. The ceiling may be a little bit lower because there's going to be extra shares. Yes, it could have gone higher. Yes, but if you were looking for a fucking catalyst, if you're looking for a catapult, how do you make it happen? You get shorts out of your stock. How do you get shorts out of your stock? And to get them to stay out of your stock, you get to two things. Cash flow positive, little to no debt. I think in a best case scenario, this is accomplishable by Q4 of 2022. I think in a worst case scenario, you're looking at Q1 to Q2 of 2022. That's my thesis. I think the entire purpose behind APE is to get shorts out of the company. I completely agree, but it's not in the way you think it's going to be. If we know one thing about the stock market, it's that the entire thing is corrupt, the entire thing's manipulated, the entire thing's filled with crime. This will never change. This will never, ever change. It's pay to play, right? The moment you sign up, the moment you step into the stock market, and you say, I want to buy this stock, you've signed a verbal agreement to agree to the fact that the entire stock market is manipulated and fucking always will be. Oh, I meant 2023. Yeah, my bad. 2023. Q1 to Q2 of 2023. But manipulation will always happen. And I think Adam Aaron recognizes he can't really do anything about this. Ader as an example, right? If you were to look back at Ader, how many people remember? Drop a small PPE emote. If you remember when Ader's CEO came out and announced they had literal proof that there was naked shorting taking place in their stock. Over half the float, naked shorted over. Who remembers that? Who remembers that? Anybody? Anybody at all? Small PPs, roll them. Do you want to see what happened after he found out, after he had literal proof? Because I'm going to tell you something, all right? If they came out and found proof that the stock was naked short sold, it wouldn't fucking matter. How do I know? This is how I know. Because Ader did it. It doesn't matter if you prove they're there. What matters is getting them out. Ader did it. What have they done? They're at $2.66. They found this out months ago. Damn, it could have been nearly a year ago now. You know, all they've done is go down. I promise you this from the bottom of my heart. You don't want to give a shit about proving that naked shorts exist, or that short exempt volume exists, or that failure to delivers exist. You don't fucking care. There's no reason to care. There's none. Because even if you prove it, they don't leave. They just fucking won't. There's proof. You look back on any company, you're going to see this. You just got to get them out. So how do you get them out? How can Adam Aaron, how can the executives, how can the board get them out of the company? You force them out. You make it a bad short. You have to find a way to make your company a more attractive buy and not an attractive short from a fundamental perspective. And to me, that is what he means to do when he says APE will be a pounce. I don't think people are going to like this. I don't think people like the timeline. I don't think people are going to like this opinion. And if you don't, that's okay. This is my thesis, this is my theory. But I just don't think you're going to see a MOAS if they're not cash flow positive and they don't pay off a lot of their debt. I just don't think you will. I don't see a world. The shorts will continue to cycle in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. And if that continues to happen, I stick with my thesis. I think as long as they're cash flow negative and they have lots of debt, it's going to be a Tesla cyclic squeeze where you see big ramps followed by long bleeds, big ramps, long bleeds, big ramps, long bleeds, just like I said for the first time in March of 2021. And if you look at the stock, it's done exactly that since March of 2021. Big ramps, long bleed, big ramp, long bleed, big ramp, long bleed, big ramp, long bleed, big ramp, long bleed, big ramp. You get my point. APE to me is the way. APE to me is the way they do it. Halfway happy. We don't want dilution. Halfway happy. Does that make sense, chat? That's my theory. That's my thesis. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm wrong. It's going to take time to find out, but that's what I think makes the most sense. I've wrapped my head around this and I've tried to think about it from a lot of different angles, and that is the only thing that I can think of that makes sense.